past 3 months, I've been living in a triangle across Toronto. From Parkdale to St. Lawrence Market to Etobicoke, I've been bouncing between 3 different homes. My partner had major knee surgery at the beginning of November, so we quietly packed up our things and settled into his parents' home, a space better designed for his healing during that first month. Of course, at the very same time, my parents surprised me by flying in from London, turning what was already a very transitional season into one filled with juggling family time, caregiving, and lots of motion. As well as wrapping up one of my contracts from my day job, though it wouldn't appear so, I was really struggling to keep up with content, with myself, and quite frankly with life. It's only in hindsight that I'm able to recognize how thinly I was spreading myself. And as someone who can usually name her feelings, this in turn lets me know that somewhere between the shifting rhythms and constant movement, despite not being the one who underwent surgery, I too was losing my own footing.
Hi, I'm Marisa. By the way, I realized I didn't actually introduce myself. This is my first concerted attempt, I would say, at launching something that I've wanted to launch for a while, which is a series that will keep me grounded, that will keep me in some form of a routine. And I just thought, what better time to create a series, which I have called the Soft Shift series, of me moving into my first apartment with my partner. I have never lived with anyone other than my family, so this isn't going to be a, ordinary kind of move. This is a first for me, and I'm excited about it, but I'm also trying to overcome some of those obstacles that I mentioned in the intro before introducing myself. So right now I'm currently sitting in my house. I have a bunch of boxes behind that. I don't even want to talk about what the rest of this space looks like, but I did just want to go ahead and intro myself and say thank you for sticking with me through this, Lord forgive me, patchwork of a first video, as I'm trying to just, bring everything together. I'm very much someone who is a recovering perfectionist, but I do believe that it's best to just start than to try and get everything perfect. That is specifically what has held me back and prevented me from doing anything like this before. And when I say anything like this, I'm specifically referring to long form YouTube content. I do actually have a YouTube page for my podcast, the Balance in Bloom podcast, but it's very different. It's not peeping into the day-to-day of my life. It's more, what it is. It's a Balance in Bloom podcast, and I will link it below, or I'll put something on the screen somewhere. But this is really exciting for me. I actually feel a bit of nervous energy pulsing through my hands and my arms right now. This is so strange because I don't know if you have seen any of my content on my TikTok platform or on my Instagram. Like, me being up in front of the camera is not something new, but in this context, it is new. And I think it's nervous excitement. That's the kind of energy that I've got going through me right now. But I just wanted to clarify in case someone comes across this, someone I know comes across this, and they're like, you have done something like this before, ma'am. This specifically in this context, no, but yes, you can catch me on Instagram and on TikTok doing a lot. Anyway, back to what I was saying. This is the first episode, and again, just excuse my appearance in other parts of the video because, child, I don't even know what to tell you. I don't even know the end of that sentence, but I am very grateful. Okay, let's keep it moving. Welcome. It is indeed December 1st. It is Monday, December 1st, 2025. And as you can see, there's some things over there. Can I zoom in? Nope, I cannot. But this is stuff that isn't even at my own home. Maybe I should do a separate story as to how this even all came about, this move. This month is gonna fly by in the same way that November did. Hey, my lovelies, please excuse how I look right now. And also please excuse this little muffin as she's sleeping here. You'll probably hear her snoring. I find myself in this really transitionary period right now where I actually feel like documenting it will ground me and give me a routine, give me some semblance of a ritual and some semblance of balance, you know me and balance. Because let me just break it down for you. I don't know about you, but November definitely just went that way. And I know that if I'm not careful, I can absolutely go ahead and let December do the same thing, but I can't actually afford to let that happen. Why? Because I'm moving. I have been in my spot for coming on 5 years. I think
if I were to take it into 2026, it would be 5 years. I have already sent the message to my landlord, letting her know that I'm going to be out. In fact, I spoke to her in October and said, hey girl, lease is up December 31st. I really want to move that feels gentle, that feels intentional, and honestly, I need that because for the past little bit, I have been in between spaces and places, and therefore in between routines. At this point, I will go ahead and say the routines have been dashed. And honestly, in some ways, in between myself and today is the day that we move back downtown. We are back in Toronto, and again, I'm not actually at my home, I'm at my partner's home. It's been a lot of, back and forth and a lot of movement. 3 rhythms, 3 commutes, 3 settings, and somehow driving more in 1 month than I have in my entire time living in Canada, which is 6 years, by the way. It's been a season that's quietly asked a lot of me. Flexibility, tenderness, patience, all while everything around me kept shifting. And I could feel something in me starting to drift too. I slipped into this low vibrational, constant hum, quietly telling me I wasn't being productive enough. My routines felt unfamiliar, then disappeared altogether. And no matter how much I tried to catch up, I just couldn't quite catch my breath in the way that I wanted to. Though I wouldn't quite refer to it as internal chaos, I certainly wouldn't refer to it as control. It was just a lot of movement and me trying to stay grounded while everything kept moving. Today hasn't actually been a very dramatic day. This is definitely not a moving vlog. This is more like a re-entry. I've just kind of been reclaiming corners of space, noticing what needs to go, what needs to stay. I've had to really tap into my ruthless nature. I'm very much a sentimental person, even if the object is, what's that word I'm looking for? Inanimate. I have attachments to things, and it's not the time for that because this move is very different in that I'm not just moving myself. This is going to be very much a blended situation. So he's having to consider things that he wants to say goodbye to. He's equally, if not more sentimental than I am when it comes to inanimate objects, but things that are his. And he, like me, has been in his space for 4 or 5 years as well. So it's very different. And that's why I say it's very important that I'm very intentional with it all and make sure that, and I need to make sure that I'm not going to be rushing through anything. I can't with the chaotic energy. And I'm sure you'll understand, anyone who's had to make a move by themselves or with a partner or with their friends, whatever it is, it can get to that stage of being a bit frantic if you leave it too late. So like I said, this is my attempt at resetting. We can restart and reset at any point. It just so happens to be December 1st, so it kind of wraps up in a nice little bow. But that's the vibe. As someone who cares deeply about wellness, my well-being and sustainability in all contexts, I don't want this move to be chaos dressed up as productivity. I also don't want to arrive in our new home feeling depleted, scattered, or burnt out. If anything, I want to arrive as the calmest version of myself, or at least closer to her. And for me, that means taking things slowly, day by day, drawer by drawer, box by box. It means allowing soft landings and celebrating small wins. It also means honouring the reality of the past few weeks. Even when giving care is given freely and with love, it still asks a lot of you. I'm now in the process of my body and mind finding their way back. I'm actually so excited to show you the new space. It's really beautiful and very much reminiscent of what I had in my journal in 2019 before I moved to Toronto, of what I wanted, the kind of apartment I wanted, the kind of condo that I wanted to be in. It's got the view that I wanted, it's laid out in the way that I wanted, and it's just crazy how things work out. It's honestly crazy. I very much believe in putting everything out there and believing that it will come around, and that's exactly what has happened here. And it contributes to why I want this space to feel very much like a space of ease. Of course, everyone wants their home to feel peaceful, and it's very important to me that my home feels peaceful. And I should probably get used to saying our home. It's not just my home, but everything from cozy bedding, intentional storage, the scents, the textures, the color scheme, all of that, it's going to make a real difference in how peaceful it feels and smells. And, I just want everything to be intentional. So this, my loves, is what the Soft Shift series is all about. It's about moving with intention and reorganizing without panic. It's about packing slowly and purging with clarity. It's about creating a home as a form of wellness and building one that embodies that. It's about blending two lives without either of us losing ourselves. It's about choosing softness over stress and finding new rhythms after old ones have fallen apart. And finally, it's about documenting it all with honesty and as a means of accountability to the commitment I've made to do so. I am going to go ahead and wrap things up for today, and I need to figure out whether to look at myself or whether to look at the camera. And also, before anyone comes for me, I know damn well how many times I said intentional today, okay? It is giving emotional support adjective. I'm just going to refer to it as that. But I am so happy that you shared this Soft Shift series episode 1 with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.